It's the Halloween show. Tonight we look back at the Bull and Panther game to see what we should learn from our victory. Then we will zoom forward to the Brownsboro Bears to see what monsters and ghouls might lie in store. We'll look back at the 2023 season and look forward to the UIL playoffs. Slice yourself a piece of pizza. The coach is in the house.
Everybody, welcome to the Coach Meeks Show, brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Live here from the pizzeria, as per usual. Of course, we have Larry, come on, Ref, Pierce down at one end, munching on his salad. You love this pizzeria
I do.
salad,
I love their layer salad, their house salad. I do. It's good stuff. I look forward to it every week.
And we have us a Halloween smorgasbord here.
Yeah.
Got Coach's pepperoni extra crispy. We got us our buffalo chicken, and we got a bonus. We got a bacon
Chicken ranch.
chicken ranch pizza. I haven't tried that yet. I'm looking forward
It's actually
to
really
it.
pretty good.
So,
And then Triple S made us some cookies.
yes, she did.
I'm ready to just jump into all of
Full
that.
of
We got all
dessert,
kinds of stuff. I'll tell you today, I'm glad I didn't eat very much at lunchtime.
And of course, it wouldn't be the Coach Rick Meeks show if we did not have Coach Rick Meeks here.
I'm here.
Chris Wallington is not with us. He is out of town. He is trick or treating currently. But we'll say hello to Chris. I think you're going to be tuning in at some point during the show. He did provide us with that spooky introduction that we just had. But let's hop right into it. Talk about this game last week against the Bullard Panthers. We come out with a win, Coach. So that's good. I think everybody's kind of wondering kind of what happened. I actually had my plumber pull me aside yesterday and asked me, why we're not scoring like we did against North DeSoto and some of these other teams. And I promised him, plumb crazy, that I would ask you that question. So we're going to start off with it. What in the world, Coach? Why aren't we scored 95, 100 points anymore?
That's bad when 40 is not enough, man.
I tell you.
We played really well in the first half, both sides of the ball. We executed well. Defense played really well. We probably had one of our better defensive outputs all year. And so very, very pleased with that. I thought we got a little unfocused at halftime. And that's, all on us as coaches and in terms of how we manage the 28 minutes of halftime. And then we just didn't play well. They came out, scored, we did match it. And then we went flat offensively. We continued to play well defensively, thank goodness. Because that's what allowed us to win the game. And the turnovers they continued to cause and just the way they played and flew around to the ball. And, we did a lot of really good things. And so, we just got very we missed assignment here, missed assignment there offensively. We subbed, but, that we still weren't doing our job. It's one thing if we'd have subbed and we were just, physically not able to do it, but it was a lot of mental errors from a lack of focus, and it's a good learning experience for our guys because we constantly talk about playing the next play. That's part of trusting the process, our Friday pillar, and that's a prime example right there. Do not worry about the scoreboard. Do not worry about what's on the clock. You go play the next play. Every play has a history of itself, and it's our job to win each play. And then at the end of the game, then we pay attention to the scoreboard and see where we're at. So great learning piece there for our kids and how we've got to finish moving forward.
Let's talk a minute about – I want to talk about number 10, Mosley. He was my nomination and our ultimate co-player of the game. I thought he had a great game.
And Caleb did a phenomenal job. Caleb has continued to get better each week. Struggled early in the season. He is a wonderful young man, and he's very hard on himself. And took some things early in the season, personal, which you want, but also too when you're really hard on yourself, sometimes that might not be the best approach from our standpoint. So we kind of had to coach him through that But he has just continued to get better and continued to get better and continued to get better. And Friday night he had by far his best game. But he is doing a really good job at the outside backer. Got him an interception.
Yes.
Doing a really good job playing at the line of scrimmage, forcing everything back inside of him. And man, he's grown up a lot over the last couple of weeks, and couldn't be happier for him because, like I said, he is a phenomenal young man and just fun to coach and be around.
Well, the one thing I want to ask Coach is, I went back and kind of watching the game. You had did my thing, so I went back and checked it. But I know your defense is kind of a younger group on the defensive side, but I saw them really do a lot of good things back-to-back series in this one. That it seemed like they were really getting together and being more cohesive in this game against a very good Bullet offense. So I think that this defense, that the young guys are starting to really notice that they're getting that time in there, and you can really tell how much they've come along over the last couple of games.
Right, and we're running to the ball. We're trying to get
good
5 and
too.
6 and 7 hats to the ball. And, there were a couple times the other night where we had 9, 10. That fourth down stop, we had all 11. And so there are things that are starting to really register with them and click. And obviously we've worked our way in simplifying some things, and it's really starting to pay off. And their confidence is starting to really shoot up. So
I don't know if you heard this one too, but I did find out about it that we have a new tackle leader for the Center Rough Riders.
We
Mr.
do.
Atkinson. He passed up somebody that's been on there since 2009, I believe was on the list. Congratulations to him on that defense side.
He is
that's pretty cool. I saw that
passed
this week.
that up with games to play. So
That's cool.
very excited about that. Cody has done a good job and set the single game record back against Canton with 32, and now he's at 170 on the season. So
wow.
Yeah. He's having a great year, and that's a good record to have right
That's
there.
right.
That'll get you recognized right there.
Right. Well, speaking of all 11 guys trying to get to the ball, I mean, what about that play where Cash, where all 11 or 13 guys missed? I mean, do you ever look at one of his plays and go, this is like a video game. I can't believe this kid is.
How did y'all miss him so much?
I always joke with him. He'll come to the sideline and I'll be like, that's a good drill that we worked this week. That's why you were able to break all those tackles. But he doesn't let me take too much credit for it. He's just so hard to tackle. He's deceptive when you look at him. His lower body is so strong, and one guy is not going to tackle him. And you've got to have 2 to 3 guys at the point of attack with him to bring him down on first contact. And that was just pure will the other night on that play and getting the first down and keeping the drive alive. Just one more example of why he's such a special player.
Yeah.
And Kate Dixon, running the ball still very well for us too. I mean, we talked a little bit about Cash, and maybe our running game hasn't been quite where we want it to be a little bit so far, Coach. But I know we're always working on that. You're always trying to get that running game in out there too, and that starts the whole line. But I think Dixon's still having a great season running the ball back there.
But I want to talk about you. You're starting to get the other guys in there and giving him a little bit of a spell.
Right.
I guess to maybe try to keep him a little more fresh.
Yeah, and that was one thing. I guess what the North DeSoto week we talked about in here. He had 43 carries that game, and that's way too much. It's too much on him, and it also makes us pretty dimensional offensively, which allows the defense to make adjustments to stop us, which is what happened on the back end of the North DeSoto game. They started stacking the box, and we weren't doing anything to get it out of there. Now, he was having a phenomenal game, and you don't want to make the game of football too hard to where if something's working, you go away from it.
Right.
So there's a fine balance there. But the thing about that now is we're getting the ball distributed a little bit different. We're subbing a little bit to keep him fresher through the game.
We don't have a huge drop off with the second guy. Man, he is fast. That's Edward? Was this Edward?
Edwards,
Yep.
yeah.
Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much one.
That's good
And
when you
he's
can have 2 or 3
actually
backs
he's
back
actually
there,
a
too.
little bit better side to side, which makes him even tougher to defend when Caden is straight at you, and then you bring in the next guy and he's a little bit more side to side. So they complement each other well.
And then we get the future with Bluford.
Yeah, Jeremy Bluford.
That's going to be a guy. I think he's got some. I think he's got some pedigree in the system.
He
But
does.
you also had another backup too, T.J. Bellin. You're getting some time with him as well.
Right.
As
Now
far
what
as
he's-
quarterback. Though.
Correct.
Yeah.
At quarterback. So outside of that, he's starting at receiver for us, so he's getting a lot of time. And as far as the running game, yes, there's some things getting better. My deal there is you've got to avoid the negatives. Not everything is going to be, 26,
Yeah.
10, 15. I mean, if that was the case, you wouldn't do anything else. But the thing we've got to do is a better job at the line of scrimmage to where you don't have a -1 or a -3 or a -4. Like the tackles for loss is that we can't have those. You know, and that's a pretty straightforward stat that, you know, whichever team has more tackles for loss wins 73% of the time.
Yeah.
And so that is a big stat for us that we track and that we talk about in practice. And those are things that you know, we've got to continue to improve on.
And Coach, if you can get 3 yards on every play,
It's a first down.
it's first down.
You're eventually going to score, right?
Exactly.
All right, well, very good. Let's take our first break, and when we come back, we'll continue on with the Rick Meeks show as we go forward and we talk about the season. We also will do our segment with Larry, Come On Ref, Pierce, where he talks to Coach about some of the other sports and what's going on. So we will take a quick break, hear from a few sponsors, and we'll be right back here live from the pizzeria.
You know that Ace Hardware of East Texas is all the hardware you need, but there's a lot of other things they have too. Fun things for your camping trips. Fun things to wear when you go outside. For the 4th of July barbecue, to the house warming in the fall, to your Christmas shopping and clothes for all year long, it's Ace Hardware, the helpful place of East Texas. Covington Lumber and Building Supplies is in the capable hand of a 3rd generation of Covingtons. For shingles for your roof, to carpet for your floors, to Farrell Calhoun paint for the walls, bathroom fixtures, and everything in between, Covington's has it, as well as all the lumber you can shake a stick at. Lumber for your home or for other fun projects. You find it all at Covington's. So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the pizzeria just off the square in Center.
All right, folks, welcome back here as we talking to Coach Meeks on the Rick Meeks Coach Show and having some pizza and salad, and welcome to Meeks family here.
Yeah.
Getting their stuff in here, all dressed up for Halloween. Now, I was telling you before we come on, me and Cyrus did talk about maybe doing some old football coaches and dressing up in here, maybe a referee or stuff and have some fun, but we just didn't get the chance to do that. And then I thought too, well, maybe I can dress up like Watlington and shave my head and face, but I didn't want to get that into gear. I love you, Chris, but not that much. But here we go. We got a lot of things going on. I do want to ask you first and foremost, because this is going out here and basketball season is getting ready to start. Now, I'm sure you've seen it. There's a lot of changes coming up here and I want people to be aware of this. There's some changes to the basketball season when it comes to fouls and stuff this year. And so been kind of, I've been kind of on both ways. I've been hearing kind of both sides of it. So there is a little bit of a change that folks need to be aware of if you kind of enlighten us maybe a little bit about it.
Hey, you're going to put me on the spot here, so let's
I'll help
see.
you as much as I can, Coach.
I know that there's no more
basically
1-and-1
with
and
1-and-1
double
stuff.
bonus.
Yeah.
So, and the foul count resets every quarter.
Yeah.
And so, if I'm not mistaken, when you get to five. You're shooting 2.
Yeah.
And then when the quarter's over, you go back to 0.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the extent of what I know.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. And basically, you're doing.
I remember seeing when it came out, and I read through it, and of course, I shared it with Coach Smith and Coach Harrison, and then I'm thinking,
let them go with it. Right?
Y'all can then refill me in later, but
sure I know how to go.
that is a big change, though. That is one that will be new to many, many, many people.
Yeah, and a lot of people have to understand that that's going to be taking place here. And on the scoreboard, I'm like you. I'm trying to remember the visual, the image. On the scoreboard, it'll always show 5 fouls. And if it's a shooting foul, you'll still go to the line. But, if after 5, you're going to get the 2 shots no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
Correct.
at the end of the game, the strategizing part of it, like I think, is the 1-on-1 part of it. But it takes that away. But I also had another coach tell me that if you're a pressure style offense, you may foul a little bit more. So you want to reset, so you not put them on the line.
Right.
So I can see a couple different things there, and they did change this in the girls' college game a couple years back. So that's kind of where they're going with this.
Right.
So everybody be ready for that for basketball.
That's it. It will be a change, and probably something that we might need to talk about again before people get in the bleachers and start hollering at the officials, right?
Better tearing up the 54 guys that are going to be having it there. But other things that are coming up here, let's see. I know we finished up the volleyball season. So how did the Coach Spike and the girls? I know they had a better season.
Yeah, we had a lot better season. We fell short of qualifying for the playoffs, I believe by a game, might have been 2, but we our win total went from 4 last year to 15 this year. So I mean, we've tripled, almost 4 times the amount of wins. A lot of returning players. I mean, the upside to volleyball right now is very high. You know, Coach Spikes has did a phenomenal job with them this year in terms of just learning the game and what goes on through the course of the game. So did a really good job with that. Cross country, we're still going. Solomon qualified for state.
Oh, nice.
He ran at regionals last Tuesday, and so we might have actually talked about that last week. But anyway, he's qualified. He runs this Saturday at Old Settlers Park in Round Rock. And then girls basketball kicked off last week, and they scrimmaged Saturday in Tenaha, and then they have a scrimmage tomorrow. And then their first game is this Saturday at Rusk.
At Rusk.
So a lot of moving parts going into play now.
Right, yeah, and I had a friend of mine said he went and watched the girls. We talked to Coach Smith a while back, and said he went and watched the girls play. He said they were very much pretty liked what they're doing. So even outsiders looking there. So I think the girls are going to be really good this year. I'm looking forward to covering.
Yes,
them.
sir.
Let's see. There was some things that are coming up here. We have, of course, Thanksgiving and Christmas, so some of the breaks are going into. But just also, I want to say congratulations to the center band real quick, too, because they had a phenomenal run there. And, I don't know what the final part of it there, but I know that they were in the final part of things there at UIL, so congratulations to them. Girls basketball and then the guys basketball, too, is going to be starting up, but we wait till after football season to start that, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we only have, I believe we only have two kids that are not in football that play basketball. Right. So we won't get anything started there till the season's over with. And Coach Harrison coaches football, but also is he's a true program guy. Like right now, it's not even it's probably on his mind, but he doesn't talk about it. Like he's focused on coaching our secondary and coaching our kids, and
right.
and it matters when the head coaches of different sports are all after the same thing. And so, Coach Harrison falls into that category, and he, he's true program guy. So happy he's on our staff.
Exactly. And that correlates between the programs, the football program success, and it helps bring, have more people want to come here and be a part of our program. Our basketball team and they all coincide together, and it makes for a good all around, like you were talking about, building the program, getting that into where you have the students and the people that come in here that want to be here and they play here, and we have championship caliber. And that's what we're trying to do here. With all those working together, I think we'll have that.
Winning's contagious. Doesn't matter what sport it is. And when the kids are used to winning, then it carries over to the next. And the ones that don't play are in the bleachers supporting their friends and their teammates. And when it goes to the next one, then they're either going to play or the other ones are in the bleachers supporting them. And man, it's just that's the family that we're trying to generate, and we're on the right track there.
Yeah, I believe so. And real quickly, Coach, I know that we got the youth guys are playing ball, and then we're kind of wrapping up some junior high and the younger guys, JV guys. So that all come together, having a good season to wrap up right there.
Yes, sir. They finished up with Brownsboro this week. Last week, 7th grade won against Bullard. The 8th grade fell short by a touchdown. They can win this week. They get to 6 wins on the season.
Nice.
And that group won 2 games last year.
Right.
So our 8th grade has improved, and they had a really good summer. And, it's interesting to see how that correlates, and our kids start to see it, which just increases our numbers in our summer strength and conditioning stuff. Freshmen and JV game both got rained out last week.
Oh, no.
So the games that were here at home got rained out. Our junior high games in Bullard we got to finish. So anyway, we'll have all 4 this Thursday. Junior high's playing at home, and our freshmen and JV will travel to Brownsboro. So
there you go.
Yes, sir.
So full slate of it all coming up here. All kinds of great sports. So get out there and support the Rough Riders, no matter if you're playing the sports or if you just want to get out there, got somebody watching, you definitely need your support. So we're going to take a break here. We'll be right back as we're at the Rick Meeks Show at the Pizzeria, filling up on Halloween night here on NetSN.
This is a Whataburger table tent. An orange and white trophy for your made-to-order burger. It means we cook your meal up fresh. And don't get up, because we'll bring it right to you. So if you're looking to sit down and celebrate the fact that you left it all on the field, we've got your number. Whataburger, just like you like it.
Sandy Cox is a good State Farm agent. Just ask Drake. He knows. State Farm agents in general are pretty cool, but Sandy Cox has the answers to your questions. Like, what's best for me, for my kids, for my business, for my farm? For all of us in Shelby County, those questions can be answered at Sandy Cox State Farm.
Gaddy's Medical Supply is your one-stop shop for all your medical supply needs.
Jack Allen, where's my ankle wrap stuff for my sore ankle?
Your ankle wrap or your Kinesio wrap?
The old guy wrap.
Ah, the ankle wrap. It's in the top bathroom drawer.
Okay, thanks.
If you are recovering from an illness or an injury, Gaddy's Medical Supply can offer you the support you'll need.
Jack Allen,
Yeah?
where did I put the raised toilet seat?
Check behind the door.
Right.
From crutches to canes to chairs, Gaddy's Medical is there for you.
Behind which door?
The hall bathroom, Dad?
Okay.
Okay, take care of yourself or someone you love with Gaddy's Medical Supply.
Everybody, welcome back to the Rick Meeks Show. We're, of course, live here from the pizzeria. Again, with the we were talking about the
pizzas.
The bacon ranch chicken pizza is really excellent.
Yeah, it is.
We had the on the very end, we had the buffalo chicken pizza before, and we liked it so much we got it again. We always want to try something new here, so by the end of the season, we'll have gone through most of the menu. I think we're pretty close.
Yeah, I told him, I said we need.
There's nothing wrong with the old pepperoni.
The trusty pepperoni.
I told him, I said we ought to have people tell us what kind of mixture to make before we come down here, but I don't know if we want to do all of that. You know, we might get some weird combinations.
So, I want to talk a minute, Coach, because this segment we're going to kind of look back and look big.
Yep.
And then start talking about kind of the of course the playoff picture is not anywhere close to being settled. It doesn't sound like, but kind of like some of the possibilities. But I want to piggyback off what Larry finished up with, and that is having a lot of participation in your middle school program and building those kids. That's the foundation. That's for what we ultimately see on Friday night. Who do you have down there? Who's in charge of that?
So Chris Moore is our junior high coordinator and basically our head junior high coach, and then he's also our head baseball coach in the spring. But Coach Moore is over our junior high boys program. His assistants down there are Tanner Strauss, who's been here for 2 years now. Jared Lissenby's been here all 3 years that I've been here. We hired Peyton Martinez last year, so he's been here for 2 years. And then Jeremy Sykes is one that we hired this past year. And, so they do a really good job of working together. And, they just they have a big job in front of them.
Yeah.
And our junior high is, like you said, the foundation of everything that happens, not just football, but just everything that we're about. And one of the biggest things is keeping them from 8th grade to 9th grade, and being able to really adapt into that transition. That 6th grade pre-athletics, 7th grade and 8th grade athletics, those 3 years are key. They've got to have a good experience and also understand what it takes to win and to be successful.
Right.
And that's a fine line, I mean, you can't. It can't be the YMCA, or you're not going to be successful later on in your years.
But it can't be the baton death march.
But
either.
It can't, because then you're only going to have 10 kids a class every year.
Right.
They're all going to go find something else to do, and so that's such an impressionable age that you've got to be able to relate to the kids, and that's one thing that Chris does a really good job of, and does it in a way that he can hold them accountable and build the relationship. So. Definitely phenomenal guys that we have down there working with our junior highs.
Do you feel like maybe it's not trying to run down and put down any of the kids or anything, but is it a little bit harder nowadays with everything that is to really keep those guys in attention and keep them focused on what the point ahead, I guess is what I'm trying to say?
No, absolutely. I think that's the case, whether they're in pre-athletics or they're a senior. But definitely in the junior high it is. kids now have so many more things to do than what we had when we were that age, and then even people that were older than us. And so if they feel like, and we're post-COVID, where I'm telling you, post-COVID coaching is crazy, because they basically were sent home and were just at the house. Like they were basically shown that you don't have to come to school. Like you can do everything remotely, and that's not true. Like, sure, we got through it, but was that really what was best for kids? No, it wasn't.
I think all the scores for
it wasn't what was best for
nationwide has been-
adults.
yeah.
There's no way that's what's best for kids. And so anyway, there's a lot of factors that go into that now, and you're right. There's so many more things that they can do, and so that's why I say it's a slippery slope in there. Like, winning and being successful in athletics will never be anything but hard work and dedication towards a craft. It's not ever going to be given to somebody like that. Those are the things that it takes for you to win and to be successful every year. And sometimes our kids don't think that's what you got to have, because you can just search something or you can just go do something and you have it. Well, that's for a short amount of time. That's not lasting. So there's some challenges there.
Yeah, because you want to win, you got to put in. I think in my head, right off talking about Tom Hanks in League of Their Own. If it was easy, everybody would.
That's right.
do it. So that's, if you want it, you got to work hard. That's what it's all about. You got to work hard no matter what. If you want it, that's what it got to take, and you got to put in the work to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. And we've talked about this a few times with our older kids in the varsity locker room and team meetings. Like, there's nothing fun about practice.
Nobody likes to work and practice.
The fun part of football, or the fun part of any sport, is when you go compete in the game and you win with your teammates and you get to celebrate.
Right.
But the game of football Monday through Thursday is tough. You're practicing against each other. You're the first team offense, or you're a scout team defense, or you're both, or you're special teams, and you're just, it's contact. There's nothing fun about that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I bet you Atkinson likes it.
But
I bet you he likes the. I don't know if y'all run the Oklahoma drill or not, but he would be really good at it.
but the things you learn through the course of that, and then getting to celebrate on a Friday night with your teammates, that's what's fun.
Exactly.
And the memories that are made from there, that's what's enjoyable, and that's what's fun. And so those are things that are tough to get our kids to understand, because times are different.
Yeah.
Right. Well, too, and this is probably one of those most difficult games for a coach, too, when it comes to the end of it, because not saying that the season's over by any means, but it's a senior night. And, I know coaches do it differently. Some coaches pull their seniors in one by one. Some of them talk in the group in front of the guys, and it's hard on a coach and it's hard on a senior, because, not saying that our season's over, but, that senior night thing, and, you're dressing up and you realize, I may – one of these days, this is going to be it, And it's a hard thing. A lot of people don't understand what it means to finally take that uniform off and know never they're going to put it on again. That senior night is emotional.
Right.
And that can be even hard on a coach, too, especially being there with these kids the way that they've built this program.
Correct. And these guys, were 10th graders my first year. And it's gonna get harder every year for me, because it's one more year with a group, and there is a lot of emotions that go into senior night. I will say one thing that we do, and I think it helps, is we do make sure they get their recognition, because that's what it's about. But we also wait until the banquet to do even more recognition, to where we can make it about that individual and him being a senior and what he's done for our program. Because Friday night, yes, it's senior night, but our team is going to try to go win a game.
Right.
And that's the bigger picture. And we talk to our kids enough about that they understand that. If they walked in right now and I said that, they're not going to look at me like,
what?
What's he talking about? I mean, those are things that we talk about. I mean, that's external factors that you can't, like, those are things that have no bearing on the game. because once they walk across the track and the ball's kicked off, Brownsboro doesn't care that we recognize 21 seniors.
Right.
Nobody does. It's going to be about what's going on the field, and so we're going to make sure they get their recognition and things are said about them that they've accomplished because they have earned those things. And then come January when we have our football banquet, we're going to elaborate even more and really celebrate those guys and what they've accomplished. And, I told them today, and I don't ever do this, but I want them to understand what they have done in terms of laying a foundation. And our senior class, if we handle business Friday night, that puts us at 7-3 on the season. You have to go back all the way to 95, 96 for there to be back-to-back 7+ win seasons. We won 8. We were 8-4 last year. We win Friday. We get to 7-3 and continue our season. And they need to understand that what they have done and the work they have put in and the foundation they have laid is significant. Like, they weren't even born the last time that happened. And so and I wanted the juniors to understand that because the seniors are gonna leave that to them. And if the juniors do it again next year, you go back even further than that for there to be 3 years in a row. And so they need to know that what they have invested in and the foundation that we have built, like, it's significant. Like, they have done a lot of really good things, and it is paying off. And that's not something to just slide over to the side. Like, that is something to be proud of. Now, we still got to go execute it and do it, but that, we handle business Friday and do that. That is something that they need to be extremely proud of.
Yeah, and another thing too. But another thing too is like your younger guys on senior night at home. Those younger guys, man, we want to win for our seniors. We want to win. We want to take care of business. And so that pumps them up a little bit more. It does. Too, out there for those younger guys. We want to win for our guys on our last night.
They do, and I will say it briefly, but I think that's what makes our guys special right now. Those seniors, they want to win for those juniors and sophomores that are playing with them too. Like we have a pretty cool dynamic in our locker room, and so I think that's a two-way street.
Excellent. Yeah. And that's the thing about it. I mean, it's the locker room. I mean, you ask any of the pro guys, they'll say that's what they miss the most.
Yeah, the locker room is the best part, man.
That's it.
All right, so let's go ahead and transition. We talked about that, we take care of business Friday night. Let's talk about playoffs for just a minute. Of course, kind of the way the Carthage and Van games turned out, and then Carthage beat Van. I mean, so it's the 1 and 2 spots are kind of locked down, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is there any scenario where we could creep back into the 2 spot?
No, because nobody else can get to 4 wins.
Right.
So if Bullard beat Van this week and we win, we're both going to be tied at 4 and 2. They have the tiebreaker over us. But vice versa, if we do not handle business Friday, not only can no other team get to 4 wins, no other team can get to 3 wins. So matter the outcome of our game, we're
already in the playoffs.
We're locked into the
3 spot. Yeah.
But locked into the 3 spot or locked into the playoffs?
Locked into the 3 spot.
Oh, okay.
The only thing that is not solidified in our district is 4th place.
Okay. But, I mean, that's good to know. You get the kind of playing with house money, but you want to go in on the playoffs on a roll. You don't want to go in on
and probably part of me is why I addressed that with the guys today, because the outcome of our game Friday night has no bearing on our matchup in the playoffs. We're locked in a 3rd, and that's that. So I wanted them to understand that, okay, so we might not be playing for a playoff spot, but we're playing for something that hasn't happened here in 26 years.
Right.
Like that's bigger than anything else right now. We got senior night and we got this. Like this is something that you guys need to happen. Like,
what's Coach Herm say? You play to win the game.
You play to win the game.
Right.
Okay.
So
and is our opponent locked in? Is it going to be Gilmore for sure?
It will be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Just for academic purposes, what's the – because these are always so interesting. Normally Walkington would be really interested in this. What's the dynamics for this 4th spot in our district?
The winner of Canton and Rusk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Sitting there looking at all I was on this past weekend after everything, and I'm like, well, this could happen and this could happen. I was looking at all the well, okay. And then had to find out the two that play each other in the way that they break it down. But, yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's already as great as this season, because, I mean, all the teams in our district, it was centered. They're very good teams, and they've got some good records. And it was kind of crazy. It was coming down. It's already settled here with a week to go.
That's right. Of course, we we can go Eagles because the Eagles, Rusk part of the Net SN
That's right.
family.
Yeah, there we go.
And
Go Eagles.
Hey,
Coach
the Eagles
Pitt.
been playing good the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, I tell you.
And Thomas is awesome, dude. He is a great guy.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
he is.
There we go.
All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll come back with our final segment where we do talk some X's and O's about Brownsboro. We'll get ready to close this thing out on Halloween night. You're watching the Coach Rick Meeks show live here from the Pizzeria, brought to you by Steve
Sabine
Waters
State
and Sabine State Bank.
Tammy, step two is where realty becomes reality. How do you know? Every time there has been a reader's favorite contest of the Light and Champion, they've won it. Whether it's your modest home you're looking for, or maybe a slightly less modest home, or your dream home, Tammy Steptoe has it. Or maybe it's a lakeside getaway or property to start all over. You need to trust the ladies at Tammy Steptoe Realty and Center.
So, Billy Don, tell us about Brookshire Brothers.
Well, they got just about everything. Got good produce section, a fine meat market, and oh, that chicken. Winner, chicken dinner. And the pharmacist is great, and the people there make it worthwhile. They always got specials if you pay attention, and that manager, he's a nice fella. And the thing is, you can shop at Brookshire's day or night. A lot more night after daylight savings.
Brookshire Brothers Center.
What sort of thing do you expect from a good coach like Rick Meeks? To prepare you, to make you ready for the game, to make sure that the good times outnumber the bad times, but that when bad times come, you can weather the storm. What do you expect from a good financial planner? Well, much the same thing, so that your family and you get across the finish line on top of the world. That's why JBA Financial sponsors our Coach Talk with Rick Meeks. JBA Financial and Rough Rider Football.
Thought you'd seen the last of the Ford Bronco? Well, you were wrong. Ford brought the Bronco back so they could put the S in SUV. Comfort and connectivity for the highway to get you there, and then the power you need for your off-road adventure. Run at the front of the herd. Saddle up a Bronco at Center Motor Company.
Woohoo! We're back.
All right, we're back. Time for our final segment.
Go ahead.
Let's go and talk about, before we get started into Brownsboro, something to smile about. What's something to smile about this week, Larry Pierce?
Something to smile about for me this week would be that my San Augustine Wolves actually have a chance to make the playoffs here. They've been climbing last couple years, and win and get a little help from the Shelbyville Dragons. And hey, playoffs for the Wolves is going to be a great accomplishment for that team right there. And like Coach said, building on that program too. So I'm smiling right now. I got a big old Wolf smile on right now that my Wolves going to pull it off this week. That's what I'm hoping for. Win and you're. Well, I don't say win and you're in, but just win, baby. That's what I've been telling them. Just win,
That's
baby.
right.
You got to do that first.
All right, what about you, Coach? You got something?
Well, since we got the game on in here, we probably got half of Center smiling about the Rangers in the
There
World
you go.
Series,
Yeah, there you go.
and half not because the Astros didn't make it. But pulling for the Rangers, they need to pull this one now. They need them a World Series.
Yeah.
Right. For me, it was the trifecta this weekend. The Rough Riders come out and win on Friday night. The Longhorns stomped a mud hole in BYU on Saturday, and then the Cowboys put a stomping on the Rams. So it was
CeeDee Lamb played well.
Yeah, he did. So it was
I'm glad none of y'all were in my house to hear me yelling at Coach D'Amico Ryans the way he handled the last 5 minutes of that game there on Friday with my Texans, but that's okay. I
know.
love Coach Ryans, and just
But anyway, so it would have been that would have been the bonus if the Texans have come around because I'm starting to actually they're kind of my B team right now because they're
better
fun
than
to
I
watch.
thought. I'm really liking them, man. I mean, they're my team, and I'm really liking the way they're going right
Now
now.
you know what this weekend is, right? It's the first Saturday in November.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Alabama LSU.
that's right.
That's the big one. Yeah, that is the big
Oh
one.
yeah, it's huge.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, really. You better watch. You better not see that very much around here, man.
Roll Tide with the purple on, too. Even though
Right,
Rough
it's the
Rider
purple, yeah.
Yeah, that's my center, right?
That's
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
right.
center.
right.
Yeah. Well, you got to give it to him, though, Charles, because, I mean, little man over there, he got the Meeks, Alabama,
I see
all
that,
decked
yeah.
out. He's got the gloves. He's all good to go, man.
Yeah.
So, little Meeks, he's Alabama man. So, yeah, he's ready.
That's right. It is. It's used to, for years, the visiting team would win that game.
Right.
I don't know whether Are they playing it? Are
They're
they
in Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one there. I think that's a.
It'll be a
it's gonna
good one.
Good
Yeah,
game
LSU's
altogether.
playing really well on offense. It'll be a good one. Big rivalry.
Big rivalry.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and turn to the Brownsboro Bears that are coming into
Yes, sir.
town. Offensively, I know you always say, we're going to execute our game plan. I mean, it's kind of the same sort of thing. We're going to try to establish the run and then throw off of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's us. So, I still don't think we're where we need to be, running the football and controlling the line of scrimmage consistently. We do okay through the course of the game, but a streaky offense is not going to be a successful offense as we progress into November.
Right.
And have the goals that we have of playing through Thanksgiving. We're not going to be able to do that. We've got to develop some consistency at the line of scrimmage, and the majority of it is just staying focused through the course of the game. It's not a lack of ability or talent. It is staying focused for my task, one play to the next, and that's tough. That's hard for a teenager to do. But unfortunately, that's what it takes to be successful, and we've got to do a better job of it.
But now you mention it, we see glimpses of it at times. I believe in the kind of the mid part of the first half, maybe the first few minutes in the second quarter. I think we were doing that, and then I said, guys, I think we're wearing them down. We certainly we did that to Rusk.
Absolutely.
And I think we did that to Bullard in the first half, and I think that last touchdown in the quarter. I mean, we were running the ball, and we were just getting chunks.
And a lot of it is our tempo. Our tempo is suffocating to a defense. We had the same effect on Carthage early in the game there.
Yes.
If we control the line of scrimmage and stay away from negative plays and just get the ball moving, it doesn't have to be big chunk plays. We just need the defense after the play to have to go backwards a few yards to get reset. They don't need to be able to tackle and then just stand right back up at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
They've got to go backwards, find their coach, and get reset. Well, by then we're already snapping the next one because offensively we're moving forward. And so that's why controlling the line of scrimmage is so important. And we did after, about our second possession, third possession the other night, then it stayed consistent through about 3 or 4 possessions in a row, and we just moved the ball. And we've just got to be more consistent throughout the course of the game with that. When we do that, our play action stuff is just fine.
But I mean, the favorite thing as an offensive lineman was when is in the middle of the third quarter when you've got a lead, and you're just going to start. You're just going to lean on them, and you
break their will.
You break their will, and you make them quit.
Yes,
because you can feel it when the guy on the other side of the line just says, "I don't want any more."
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm done.
And it's obvious you can get them to a point that they mentally break and they're done.
Yeah. And they just kind of.
Kind of come out of it, back out of it a little bit.
And they start counting the clock, and they're ready for the game to be over with. And so that's we were doing that a lot earlier in the year, and we've just got to get back to that. We can't rely on the explosive all the time. We've got to have more consistency moving the ball. So that's just been a big thing that we've talked about yesterday and today, and challenging our guys. And I have no reason to believe that they won't rise up and answer that.
Well, and another thing too is on that too, Coach, is some of the better defenses that you kind of run against up there too. That they kind of they watch the film, they know what's going on, and so they're a little bit. Some of the defenses have kind of they can slow you down a little bit there. And that can make a difference too.
No question. In my mind, we have played 5 atmosphere type games already, like playoff atmosphere games already. North DeSoto, Dangerfield, Rusk, Van, Carthage. Those have been big time games for our kids, and the atmosphere and the type of team that we played. Max Preps does a really good job of power ratings. Once again, out of all the teams in the top 15, we have the toughest strength of schedule. Carthage is next, Van is next, and then Gilmer.
Right.
So you mean to tell me 3 teams in our district are
Exactly.
So we have played a tough schedule, and I know some of that goes into our issues, and that's I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody that we've played, but the competitive side of me says, I don't care. I still want this consistency. And I think that's our mentality that we've got to have moving forward to continue in the future and the rest of this season to have the success we want. There's no question that some of the things that we're trying to work through right now is caused by the other team and the way they've been coached and all of that. But you got to be able to run the football, and
right.
control the line of scrimmage. So that is definitely our focus Friday. And
Okay, let's take a minute and talk about X's and O's. What does Brownsboro do defensively?
So they're going to be an odd front. They don't like to bring a ton of pressure. They want to be pretty much gap sound. I think we can take advantage of that if we can get the ball going and get some tempo going. They're very athletic in the secondary, which allows them to play some man and get into some man looks a lot sooner in the field than maybe, say, just the goal line or the red zone. So definitely some stuff there that would allow them to put more in the box. Offensively, they're going to bump in and out of some different personnels. Last year they were spread, but they still do those things, but they'll also go one tight or two tight and put them in line or have the sniffer. They mix it up a lot more. Running back and receiver are really good. Receiver number 8 is committed to UTSA. So, I mean, they're still very talented on that side of the ball.
That's good stuff. Well, and I know Brownsboro is going to come in here. They know that they don't really have a playoff spot, but they want to run something for somebody.
That's what they're that's why you go play the game.
They're out there to play.
They might know that they're not. It's their last game or whatever, but that still doesn't matter. Once it's kicked off, that's right. You go play the game to play the game. I mean, that's why I was so frustrated after the game Friday night. That goes against everything that we talk about in competing. When you go compete at something, you compete until the scoreboard says the game's over.
Right.
You don't dictate when the game's over with. You don't have that luxury. Just because it got to 40 to whatever 20, that didn't mean the game was over.
Right.
The ball was still being snapped, so you still go compete and you still go do your job. And as long as there's a game going on, that's competition.
Yeah.
And they're going to come do the same thing, and our guys understand that, and we just got to show up in the right mind frame and ready to go to work.
Yep, I think so.
Well, that's well said. I think we'll end it right there.
Well, we got to do one more little thing real quick.
Yeah.
Off of before we go, there's so many different playoff scenarios for teams around the area. We do know that there's a great game going on in Timpson Friday night. Timpson and Garrison are going to hook it up for that.
Battle of the Toya.
Yeah, Battle of the Toya. That's going to be a great game. We got to see both those teams this year. Watch out, Garrison is going to be better than what a lot of people think. Also, Joaquin is in that number 4 spot right now. Shelbyville's in the number 3 spot in our district. Here's where it's got to go. Shelbyville beats Sabine, and St. Augustine beats Grapeland. We get the 4 spot over the tiebreaker. So all those teams, except for really Grapeland, are still in that last spot. So looking forward to that one there. So all those teams in this area still are going to be having a lot of chances to playoffs. So it's playoff time. I love this time of year. It's all kind of crazy.
It's my favorite time of the year.
And then I didn't think when the schedule came out, because Don on the radio, I was like, man, that game Garrison-Timpson is going to be great at the end of the year. But he's got a good one coming up on Friday night. Tennehaw and Overton. That's for the district title over there as well. Both those teams are undefeated. And it's in Tennehaw, 7-2 Tennehaw, 9-0 Overton. That's going to be a great game at 100.5 right there, too. So all kinds of great action in the area. Teams are ready for playoffs, man, and we're going to be making noise in this area.
Temp drop, starting to get darker sooner.
Yeah.
It's playoff time.
Yeah, let's get back for some warmer Texas weather, though. That's all I'm asking. That's all I want.
Right.
All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in this week. Remember, we're going to have the pregame show. Oh, Coach, we saw something on Shelby County today. Is there an alternate start time, or is it normal start time?
7:30.
7:30. Kickoff 7:30. 7 o'clock pregame show as usual. We're in the Cornerstone Balance and Therapy pregame show. We'll talk to Coach Meeks. I guess Chris Walton can catch up with you. We'll have a player in the neutral zone. We'll talk to our cheerleader and all sorts of other things as we get ready for the game number 10 for the Rough Riders here as they take on the Brownsboro Bears. Until then, we'll see y'all on Friday night. Bye. All right.
3-point shot. It's good. Red Horse takes it to the house. This has been a presentation of the Rough Rider broadcast team, brought to you by Watlington and Shires Productions.